What's going on, folks? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, and just getting prepared for Monday Night Football tonight. Rubbernecking up to my TV up to my left, and we got the Bills and the Jets about to go at it tonight. Jets are the interesting story because they want to see what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers now that Robert Saleh is out of the building. I'm curious as to how the defense plays because he was a defensive coach, but that's what's going on tonight. But the purpose of this stream, I was thinking about going live tonight, but I said, nah, I'm going to be watching the game, so I'll go ahead and record what's going on with Nick Sirianni. The presser today, where he basically came out and apologized for his actions at the end of the game over the weekend. Him jawing back and forth with fans. Not the first time he's done it, but just wasn't a good look. I mentioned that the other night when I went on live after the game. Yeah, it's just not a good look. He's done it before, and I understand where he's coming from, but just that type of bravado and that type of behavior after a game, when we struggle to beat the worst team in the league, I think that's what did it for me. You want to do that when we blast somebody. If you blast somebody like Detroit did the Cowboys, then you go ahead and talk your talk. It's still not a good look, but when you do something like that and when you totally dominate a team, I can understand that. But the performance we put together against the Browns, against the worst team with the worst quarterback in the league, and they had some opportunities to win in the fourth quarter. Based on the performance of the Eagles in that game, that is not the place that you just want to talk smack. I just didn't think it was a good look. And sure enough, everybody was coming for him. And now, I say this all the time. If you win, you're nitpicking. If you lose, it's a complaint. So regardless, they're going to go after Nick Sirianni one way or the other. Because now he's whittled away whatever type of fan equity he had. The decisions he's made, the first 4 games, some of them were questionable. Let's keep it real. Starting from the Atlanta game, losing that game, how we lost it, and everything that's followed, people have questions about him. And his act is wearing thin. I think that's where people are at with it. You've been in a situation where it might be somebody on your job, in your family, that just wear on your nerves. And then it gets to a situation where everything they do just bothers you. Everything. They could go get a sip of water and you'll complain about the glass they used or how many swallows it took. And I think that's what the situation is with Nick Sirianni right now. Because he's wearing out that equity is gone. Everybody just wants him to come in, be about business, win games, period. Leave it there. Because the aggressive, loud Italian personality is wearing thin on people. So you got to be careful if that's how you're going to conduct yourself. Because if it was somebody else, and somebody brought up a good point today in the press conference, when they were referencing what happened with Jalen Carter a couple weeks ago in the game. I believe it was with the Saints. And he was talking with some of the guys, people in the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And they ran back there and had to calm him down and all of that kind of stuff. Now Sirianni's in the same boat. So that was a very good question. I don't know who asked it, but very good question. So at least he apologized for it, tried to walk it back a little bit. It was actually, I thought, a pretty decent press conference by Sirianni, and I expected some much more difficult, hard-nosed questions about that situation. But I mean, how many times you gonna ask the same thing? It was a couple of questions. Maybe you could say that they were same question, just in different format. And sometimes they do that just to try to trip him up. Nick Sirianni, he said it. He's a fiery guy. He's trying to bring energy and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that. But even with that, as a head coach, you got to be careful of how you coming across, because now you representing the team. And every channel this morning on Get Up, on Unsportsmanlike, on every show you can think of, they were talking about Nick Sirianni. So now it's looking like a black eye to the organization. Because they're not talking about beating the Browns. They're not talking about Jalen Hurts having a good game. They're not even talking about A.J. Brown coming back. They're talking about Nick Sirianni going back and forth with some fans. Now, I don't know if they was joking or some of the stuff they were saying, because let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Some of them fans, especially the ones close to the sidelines, some of those fans can say some off-the-wall, foul stuff. They can get grimy with it. I can see that happening, especially with some of these knuckleheads in Philadelphia with no filter. So I don't know what was said. If they were coming with more than just fire Nick or whatever chant they were doing, those are just rumors. I didn't hear it. I'm surprised somebody hasn't posted something on social media, because I'm sure somebody in that group had a phone. I'm surprised that nobody filmed it. From the fans' perspective, you already know how Nick Sirianni is. You know that fiery temper and all of that kind of stuff. So it's only good when he's winning. And the way we won that game this past weekend, that wasn't a good look. And that bravado, that attitude is wearing thin. Because in my estimation, we're not that good of a team right now. Our quarterback is average, because that's the way he's playing. I think the world of Jalen Hurts, but I got to call it like I see it. And this is the first clean game he's had. No interceptions, no fumbles. And he had a good game. That was the first game like that. So, okay, starting now, let's see what happens going forward. But as it sits right now, Jalen Hurts has been average. He's not good. He's not horrible. He's been average. And we need a little bit more than that. Are we going to stay in the middle of the pack? Because the way we're playing on defense, on offense, we can't put everything together. We can't put the three phases of the game together yet. We haven't put offense, defense, and special teams together for a dominant performance. Again, I will use them as the example because that's what I see in the NFL right now. Detroit is the example of how your team should be playing. Never thought I would be saying that. Not San Francisco, not Kansas City, Detroit. Don't get it twisted. So if we want to be in that upper echelon of teams or be a team that is feared, we have to play better. We did not play particularly well against the Browns. Now we coming up against NFC East Conference opponent, and you're going to have a lot of hoopla when we go up to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. Everybody's going to be looking at the story with Saquon Barkley. That's going to be a big deal. But at the end of the day, the Giants can beat us. We've gone up there many times in the past, and we were the better team and still lost. Nothing is guaranteed. We are not playing up to the level where we can just mark it off on a calendar like we going to beat everybody that's coming down the pipe. We still got to go to Cincinnati. Right now, the way we playing, unless I see something against the Giants that makes me think otherwise. And that's how you have to do it now. You got to go week by week. You got to go week by week. The Vikings have been consistently good. Detroit has been consistently good. So that's what you expect. We haven't. We should not have to be worried about what Nick Sirianni did with fans. To me, that's a problem because the narrative is getting shifted. Because now, and don't think for a second that situation can't flip on him. Because like I said before, everybody's looking for a reason to be pissed off. The dude on the show this morning called him a clown.
It's lame. It's weak. He's a clown. It's just
because he didn't like his behavior. And I think it was like Damian Woody, I think it was, called him a clown.
Yeah. No.
And I'm not going to go that far, but I will say our team is not playing up to the level where our head coach should be talking shit to people in the stands, let alone our fans. Not to Philadelphia fans. Nah, not a good look. Win or lose, not a good look. This is week 2. I said this a couple weeks ago when we first went on the bye after that loss to Tampa Bay. We had 2 weeks to get it together. The first week, the Cleveland game, was okay. We won the game. We got the dub. That's all that matters. Wasn't a pretty win, but it don't say that in the stat sheet. It just says we won. So let's leave it there. The second game, the conference game with the Giants, now we're going to see, can we build up some consistency? I still don't think we run the ball right. We getting too busy running the ball out of gun formation. We got to change that up. But that's a nitpick of mine as a former running back. I don't want to see Saquon Barkley taking every damn handoff from gun formation. Put him back in pistol or put Jalen under center and running out of ace. Stop having the best running back in the league go sideways. Let that boy go north and south and do damage and get back to the zone runs. So we got a lot of work to do. We are not that good of a team. We're beating teams, but ain't nobody fearing us. I don't think anybody in the league should be scared of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. After what we put out on the field, I don't see it. The defense just ate everybody up when we played the Saints. And then we get, the whole thing with the Falcons. And then, of course, what happened with Tampa Bay is just like we bipolar. So we got to be better than that. And Nick Sirianni, if you at the helm, starting and stopping with you. You want to be the CEO coach? All right, so be it. It's going to start and stop with you. And if he keeps all of these antics up, you already on the hot seat. I don't understand why he want to pretend like he's not. That's the type of stuff that will burn you because everybody's keeping receipts from all of that stuff. And eventually somebody's going to say, can you believe what this clown is doing? And I guarantee you, the next game we lose, this is the first thing that people are going to come back and look at. Look at him doing all this other stuff, all these extracurricular stuffs that don't help your team win. You just giving them ammunition to sharpen that axe, man. So we just got to focus on business. Don't do no more of the silly stuff. Stand on business and let's start winning some games.